Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're jumping right into something that honestly it always kind of stops me in my tracks. Did you know we actually know more about Mars, like the planet Mars, millions of miles away, than we do about our own oceans right here? Just think about that. This huge, incredible part of our world is still so mysterious. It's kind of astonishing, isn't it? This massive blue space right here holding who knows what secrets.
It really is. And when you actually dig into that, the sheer scale of what we don't know,
Yeah.
it's profound. Our sources, things like recent marine mapping studies, they point to a pretty staggering figure. Roughly 20% mapped to high resolution. That leaves, well, a full 80% that's largely a complete mystery.
80%? Wow.
Yeah, and that 80% isn't just empty space, right? It represents entire worlds, practically. We're talking the deepest trenches, where the treasure is just immense, enough to crush submarines. Light never gets there. And think about the life. Bioluminescent creatures we've maybe never even imagined. Some generating their own light down there. It's totally alien in a way.
Generating their own light? Amazing.
And then you have these vast underwater currents, huge, powerful flows shaping global weather, moving life around in ways we're only just beginning to figure out. And maybe the most intriguing part, these like frequencies, sounds whispering from the deep, vibrations, maybe communication, maybe geology. We just don't know. So yeah, it's not just a geographical blind spot. It's a whole state of unknown, this universe beneath the waves.
Okay, let's unpack that bit. 80%, still a mystery. It really makes me think. If something so huge, so fundamental to Earth, something we see every day, can be so unknown, what about us? What about the parts of ourselves we haven't explored? And here's where it gets really interesting for me, and maybe for you too. What if this vast, unexplored ocean, what if it's actually a powerful metaphor, like a living metaphor for the parts of us that are still unexplored? Does that make sense? Like the ocean somehow mirrors our own inner depths.
Yep. That's a fascinating parallel, yeah. And maybe let's clarify that dark water idea right away. When we use that term metaphorically, we're not talking about something, evil or negative. It's more symbolic, the subconscious maybe, the hidden bits of our psyche. Like the ocean depths, they're just unlit, unexplored by our conscious mind mostly.
Right, unlit, not necessarily bad, just unseen.
Exactly. And what's really compelling is how naturally we seem to draw these parallels, especially with something as ancient, as primal as the ocean. One source we looked at, a philosophical piece on curiosity, it points out that the ocean has always captivated us because it represents both life and the ultimate unknown. So connecting this back, this metaphor isn't just like poetic nice talk. It feels psychologically true, Just like the ocean holds incredible biodiversity, weird geological stuff. Our minds hold amazing potential, hidden strengths, sides of ourselves we haven't met.
That really resonates, especially that idea you mentioned earlier that it might be about remembering who we are, not inventing someone new. It just shifts the whole feeling, doesn't it? From striving to rediscovery. And it makes me think, if we spend so much energy looking out at Mars or the latest thing online, how much time do we really spend looking in? We saw this historical account of exploration, right? Humanity's always pushing outwards, conquering the external, sometimes maybe forgetting the internal landscape.
It's a really important question. And it definitely challenges our usual way of doing things, our cultural default maybe. We tend to prioritize what we can see, measure external achievements. But if we think of our inner world like the ocean, well, then a different kind of exploration opens up. Think about deep sea tech now. These advanced subs, ROVs with amazing sensors, they're letting us peel back layers down there, revealing creatures with unbelievable adaptations, right? Thriving in total darkness, extreme pressure, feeding off chemicals from vents.
Just from synthesis, yeah. Wild stuff.
Exactly. And what's fascinating isn't just finding life, it's finding it in places we never expected. Playing by different rules, this innovation, this way of looking. It's a powerful parallel for how we might approach ourselves. Not just, sitting and thinking, but maybe using new tools, new perspectives. Looking for our own internal chemosynthetic ecosystems, if you will. Finding strength in unexpected inner places.
I love that. Finding unexpected resilience or creativity in our own dark waters. So, okay, we're talking about this region of ourselves, deep down, brilliant, untouched by all the daily stress and fear, a version we haven't really met yet. What does it take to actually go there, into those inner depths? We hear about the crushing pressure in the deep ocean. Is there a similar kind of, pressure when we explore inside?
Oh, absolutely. There's a psychological pressure. And maybe it's even more intense in its own way than the
Yeah.
physical kind. It's the pressure of confronting beliefs that hold us back,
Mhm.
facing truths that might be uncomfortable, shedding those layers of conditioning that, maybe they protected us once, but now they just keep us small.
Yeah, I can see that.
One source, a psychological study on like reaching your potential, it talks about the courage needed. It's
Mhm.
not physical bravery like sailing into a storm.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of inner strength,
Mm.
a deeper kind maybe. It's the courage to be vulnerable with yourself, to ask the hard questions, to just sit with discomfort sometimes, and to trust, really trust, that there's something incredibly valuable down there in those unseen parts, like those deep sea creatures developing unique ways to survive pressure. We need inner adaptations too. Resilience, self-compassion, patience. They help us navigate that internal pressure.
That makes perfect sense. And it brings me back to those bioluminescent creatures you mentioned, the ones making their own light in the total darkness. If the ocean can have these amazing ecosystems, creatures generating light where there is none, what does that suggest about us? About our own ability to find or maybe generate our own inner light, even when we feel like we're in our own personal dark waters?
It's such a powerful symbol, isn't it?
Mhm.
They don't need the sun. They make light from within. If we map that onto the human experience, it suggests that even in our toughest times, in the parts of ourselves we might find difficult or messy, there's this inherent ability for self-illumination. It's about realizing that our real power, our wisdom, our authentic self, it doesn't always need external validation to shine. It doesn't need permission.
It's an internal source.
Exactly, an internal source of light. And maybe it's not about creating something totally new, but more about uncovering what's always been there, just waiting beneath the surface. It feels like an act of deep remembering rather than invention.
So, what does all this mean for you listening right now if you've ever felt that pull towards the ocean, that kind of longing for its vastness, its mystery, or just the power of the waves, maybe? Maybe it's not just the water you're craving. Maybe it's something deeper, a truth. Could it be that part of you that instinctively remembers who you really are, who you were before the world piled on all the shoulds? This whole deep dive today, it's not just about fish and trenches, is it? It's about finding these little nuggets, these connections between the ocean's depths and our own potential, our own hidden self. We're trying to understand why that connection feels so profound, why it feels like more than just liking the beach, why it feels like, well, like it reflects something inside us.
Indeed. It's trying to grasp that our bond with the ocean isn't just about nice views or holidays. It's fundamental. It connects us to something bigger than just our individual lives, reflects the vastness of being itself. When we talk about the truth the ocean holds, maybe we mean the truth of our own innate nature. Before all the external expectations and pressures piled on, it's that part of you that connects to a wider, more expansive sense of self, beyond the job title, the family role, all that. This could be why we often feel calmer, clearer near water, right? It lets us tap into that deeper remembering, that primal sense of who we are at our core.
And it really drives home the idea that this journey, this self-discovery, it's ongoing. It never really stops. Just like we might find a new species in the ocean tomorrow, we might uncover a new facet of ourselves next week. It's not like, check, done.
Absolutely not. The ocean's currents are always shifting, changing things. We're not static either. We're always evolving. And this idea that there's a version of you so deep, so brilliant, so resilient that you haven't even met her yet. That's not about chasing some impossible, perfect version of yourself. It's about recognizing the wisdom and strength that's already there. Untouched, innate. This authentic self lives in that dark water we talked about. Not because she's hiding or ashamed, but because getting there takes real courage. It means being willing to face the unknown parts of your own being. It's a journey into the self. And every single step you take on that path is brave.
That's a really beautiful way to frame it. And if you've ever felt that little voice, you know the one. The inner critic saying you haven't done enough, grown enough, become enough. And let's be real, who hasn't felt that pressure? I really want you to hear this. Maybe feeling that way isn't a sign you're failing. Maybe it's a ferret. Maybe it's a chance to see the immense bravery in your own journey. You are not behind schedule. You are not broken. What you're doing right now, this process of growth, of figuring things out, that is the diving. And maybe it's meant to be slow sometimes. Maybe it's meant to feel sacred. And it is absolutely profoundly brave. There's no race to some finish line because there is the exploration itself. Remember, the deepest things on Earth are still unseen. That includes parts of you.
It's so important to push back against that constant cultural push for more, faster, visible results. This deep dive perspective, it values something different, the inner journey itself. Diving slowly, that means being mindful, present, actually taking time to absorb what you learn about yourself, Diving sacredly, that suggests treating yourself with reverence, acknowledging your inherent worth, the spiritual side of just being you, and diving bravely. Well, that means facing the discomfort, the uncertainty, the sheer power within you without turning away. It's a testament to your resilience. It affirms the huge value in your own unfolding. This process, this sacred exploration, it's what makes you whole. It's not a flaw needing fixing.
Such an important distinction, because the world is always telling us to fix ourselves, improve, do more, be more. But what if the real journey is just to uncover, to rediscover what's already there, to really feel the weight of a wave, to notice the quiet space between breaths, to embrace that ache sometimes, that feeling of wanting to go home to your authentic self. Maybe it's not always about understanding it all with your head. Some things, they're just meant to be felt, meant to resonate deeper, more intuitively.
Exactly. Not everything needs a neat explanation or a label. Some truths, especially about our inner world, our connection to existence, they're experiential. You feel them in your bones, in that gut knowing. You might feel it in the grounding power of a wave hitting the shore, that reminder of nature's force in our small yet connected place in it. Or find it in the stillness between breaths, that pause where real insight can land. And absolutely in that ache to go home, which often isn't about a place but a state of being. A yearning for authenticity, for alignment. This deep connection is just a reminder. The deepest things on earth are still unseen, whether in the Marianas Trench or inside your own soul. And they are sacred, just like you are.
And what a powerful thought to leave you with today as we wrap up this deep dive. When you feel that pull towards the ocean, when you think about its unseen sacred depths, let it remind you of your own. Let it be like a quiet whisper or maybe a roaring wave, just inviting you to explore the uncharted territories within yourself. What lies in your own sacred, unexplored depths? What truths are waiting there, maybe not to be perfectly understood, but simply to be felt? We really hope this deep dive gave you maybe a moment of reflection, perhaps a renewed sense of wonder, and a deep appreciation for the sacred mysteries, both out there in the ocean and right inside you. Until next time, keep exploring.